Hey guys, this is Max Headspace 9mm, and Marek Burza, I'm sorry if I am butchering the name, made a comment on one of my recent videos that I should do a discussion of steel case ammo. Steel case ammo. I just happen to bring a visual aid for you to look at. Now, a lot of people buy these, but they don't necessarily know if they're good or if they're bad, if they're hard on your gun. There's all kinds of things that I've heard from people. I've had people say, I will never shoot steel case ammo out of any firearm that I care about. I've heard people say they wear out your barrels. What's the truth about steel case ammo? Well, that's what we're going to find out today on Max Headspace 9mm, and this is the beginning of a discussion that will continue into the comments section if you are interested in doing so. Please load it up with your comments, because it's a fun place to hash all these things out, and we learn a lot of things in conversation like this. So, the case is the most expensive component in your cartridge, and just because it's the most complex. And so if you are a reloader, you are buying these things as a component and assembling them yourself. You can pick them up off of the ground and use them, even if other people shot them, but only brass cases. Steel cases do not reload well. Reloaders already know that. Why is that? Well, first off, the metal is steel. Now, there's a lot of different grades of steel. The carbon content of steel varies widely depending on its use. So this is a very mild steel. It's a very soft steel. It's very malleable. It's very formable. And so it works pretty well for a cartridge case. These also have a thin coating on them, a lacquer coating, and that makes them slippery and smooth so they move in and out of the chamber easily without hanging up. Now, when I say this is a mild steel, the point of that being the components in your gun are much, much harder steel than this. So a lot of people worry, am I going to wear out my gun prematurely from using steel case ammo? Well, it will wear your gun parts a little bit more quickly, yes, but that's not really much of a concern for most people. If you expect to put 20 to 30,000 rounds through your semi-auto rifle, yeah, you might have to change out the barrel, might have to change out the extractor. You might wear your bolt face a little bit more quickly, but that's it. And those are, in most cases, especially with AR-15s, easily replaced, very easily replaced. Most people with an armorer's wrench and simple tools can replace a barrel in less than an hour. And I've got a 300 blackout that I could replace the barrel in less than 5 minutes. So depending on the gun and how it's set up, that's not much of a problem. Now, what about the economy? You know, you'd save a couple of bucks per box buying steel case ammo instead of brass case ammo. And that adds up over time. If you really are going to be shooting 20 to 30,000 rounds through that gun, you would be able to afford to buy all those components that you would wear out 4 or 5 times with the money you save shooting steel case ammo. So I wouldn't really worry about it. If it's an AK, they're harder to rebuild. So yes, you'd have to have some professional swap your barrel in an AK, but with an AR-15, you're good as gold. So I wouldn't worry about steel case ammo at all. Now, brand new guns that have never been fired before. Let's talk about that. There's a few instances where I have friends who have a brand new AR-15 and they choked on steel case ammo in the beginning. Well, that's because the tolerances are extremely tight. The steel case on a American-styled bullet, which is, American bullets, have you ever noticed, are very straight-walled, a lot like the rockets that we shoot into space. Russian designed bullets, like the AK-47 for example, have a sloping sided case, like their rockets. Well, the nice thing about that is they do chamber a little bit more easily. And since they are the ones who've been using steel case the longest, you know, I guess that's part of the design logic there. But with an AR-15 and a brand new barrel, it is conceivable you will have some really, really tight tolerance barrels that would stick. I had a friend who was using steel case ammo. Every time he'd use steel case, it would get jammed in the barrel. And he would have to have a gunsmith extract that case live round from the chamber. But he could use brass case just fine. So it is kind of an issue sometimes with really, really tight chambers. Now, what about some other issues like accuracy? I've heard some people say, well, steel case ammo is junk. It's cheap junk. Okay, so here's the thing. About 50 years ago, a lot of Russian and we're talking about Russian manufacture here. Russia is pretty much universally the only country that exports steel case ammo to the United States. So a long time ago, when people who had an AK-47, for example, bought some of this steel case ammo from Russia, it was in spam cans. These are soldered together lead bricks that they would stack in an armory, and they'd store them long term throughout the Cold War that way. And some of them were quite old. Well, a lot of that ammo had corrosive primers. Russia doesn't use corrosive primers. I don't know that anybody uses corrosive primers anymore, but that's an old practice. You don't have to worry about that now. New manufacture, steel case ammo from Russia uses conventional primers, no corrosive. So what else? Well, as far as like the projectile, which is really what is the function of accuracy, the case has nothing to do with accuracy whatsoever. Steel case ammo is just as accurate theoretically as brass case ammo. The projectile, the grain weight of the projectile, how it matches the grooves and land rate of twist in your barrel, those have a lot more to do with accuracy than do the case. The case has actually nothing to do with accuracy. So you, the shooter, and the quality of your barrel and the shape of your bullet and how that grain weight of that bullet is matched to the twist rate of your barrel is everything for accuracy, as well as your optics. So accuracy has nothing to do with steel case. So a lot of ammo that I shoot is steel case ammo. I have never worn out a barrel. I've put many thousands around. I shoot a lot more than most people do, and I have yet to have worn out a barrel. And when I say that, what I mean is wear out a chamber, because you're not going to wear a barrel, the grooves and lands in your barrel, out any faster shooting steel case ammo over brass, because it's the projectile. This, well, this is a zinc-plated bullet, and then inside of there is copper, but and then lead inside of that. So there's several layers. But this is softer metal than your barrel is made out of that's traveling down there, and it's not going to wear it out any faster based on what case material you're using. So why is it that projectiles, bullets, are made out of softer metal than your barrel? Well, and then also your casing is made out of a softer version of steel than your chamber. Let's talk about that. So picture the engine in your car, okay? The cylinder walls that have a piston going up and down inside of it, and that's what powers your car. So the cylinder walls are a very hard steel. The piston that's moving up and down inside of that cylinder is made out of aluminum, much softer metal. Now, just going across town on a usual day, going to work or something like that, that piston is going to reciprocate maybe 1,000,000 times in the cylinder wall. Why doesn't it wear out? Well, the reason is because they're dissimilar materials. A soft metal and a hard metal working together don't have the same amount of friction as two hard metals rubbing against each other at high speed. So why do you think that they've gone to a lot of pistols that have steel components as well as plastic components? Like, well, the Glock pistol, for example, or a subgun like the P90. Why are you seeing so much plastic used in guns now? Well, not only is it lighter and you can do a lot more with it, and it's cheaper to manufacture, and in many cases it'll last really well, but it's the wear issue. Plastic and steel are a match made in heaven. Those two components do not wear each other out because one is soft and one is hard. Well, in the same way, the bullet traveling down your barrel is much softer metal than the barrel itself. So it doesn't wear out the barrel nearly as fast as if you're shooting steel bullets out of your barrel. Now, there are steel core bullets, but those have a jacket of copper around them or some soft metal to protect the grooves and lands of your barrel from the steel core of that bullet. And also, the cartridge case is a softer version of steel. And it's not traveling down the barrel at the rate that your bullet is. It's just getting chambered, moving a tiny bit in there, and then getting pulled back out again. So don't be afraid of steel-cased ammo. Steel-cased ammo is a good thing. It's perfectly sensible to save a few bucks on a box of ammo, especially for practice. And don't feel guilty about that. It's not going to destroy your gun. Most people just don't shoot near enough to wear out a gun shooting with steel-cased ammo. So if you have any more questions, put them down in the comments section. I hope this answered a few questions and removed some fear from using steel-cased ammo. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. This is Max Headspace 9mm.